I'm telling you, take $1 billion, take $2 billion, buy Bitcoin, put out a press release, explain why you bought it, and wait, and you're going to double your money.
Chairman and CEO of MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor, has once again explained why he believes Bitcoin is the future of the cryptocurrency industry. The former rocket scientist explains that Bitcoin vividly stands out from the rest of the cryptocurrency industry. It neither needs other coins nor is its growth tied to any of them. For Bitcoin to grow exponentially in a very short time, Saylor believes all we need is a big institution or sovereign wealth fund willing to cash in on billions of dollars without any risks whatsoever. They only have to put in the money, tell the world why they did it, and other institutions, sovereign funds, and governments will come flocking. Welcome to Savvy Finance. This video examines Michael Saylor's simple but explosive path to exponential growth for the world's biggest cryptocurrency. Saylor's MicroStrategy is currently topping the list of companies with the most Bitcoin with plans to buy even more. Saylor believes this decade will be completely different for Bitcoin. Please watch the video to the end to listen to how Saylor sees Bitcoin growing to $200,000 and more. Also, remember to click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications. Michael Saylor is a strong believer in the potential of Bitcoin, an asset which, according to Forbes, launched him back into billionaire status. In October 2020, he disclosed that he bought 17,732 Bitcoins for $175 million. Even with the recent dip, Saylor's personal stash is worth almost $700,000. He has also stated in the past that Bitcoin helped save MicroStrategy from falling with the US dollars. Saylor has carved out a simple and explosive growth path for Bitcoin. Unlike other cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin does not need any use cases to prove its usefulness. In itself, it is a powerful asset that has brought a revolution. Saylor adds that it is only a matter of time before the really big players come in with billions of dollars to change everything we know about Bitcoin. To Saylor, the asset is at a tipping point, and once one sovereign fund comes in, others will naturally follow.
But as I said before, if Godzilla shows up to the kids' playground, then all of your models, they're all irrelevant and broken. It is true. It's totally true that if I deal you double aces, then you have an advantage in the poker game. But if I take out a gun and point it at your head and say, give me your goddamn money, the double aces don't give you an advantage in the poker game anymore, right? The point is the system changed. There are new developments. I think the people that have lived in the crypto industry for the last decade, they lived through a very difficult time, and I respect that, you know? And their lessons are their lessons, and you should respect them for what they learned. But just because you lived through the first decade of the industry doesn't mean that you can draw upon solely your experiences and your data sets to extrapolate the second decade of the industry, right? You fought wars with bows and arrows and spears your entire life, and I show up with a bunch of dudes with machine guns, and then you want to call the battle strategy. And the point is you're fighting the last war, and like there are elements of what you learned in the past decade that are relevant. But let's just deal with the elephant in the room here, which is if you look at Bitcoin and you look at all the other cryptos, there's a crypto economy. It's got its own future. It's very complicated and murky. We could talk about it for 3 hours. There's competitive issues, security issues, regulatory issues, nation state issues, complicated. Then there's Bitcoin, a digital property on a dominant network. It doesn't need any of the other crypto whatever to be successful. For Bitcoin to be successful, there are any of 10,000 entities. The Sovereign Wealth Fund of Abu Dhabi, the Sovereign Wealth Fund of Saudi Arabia, the Qataris, the Emiratis, the Norwegian Sovereign Wealth Fund, every public investor, every macro investor, every large company on earth, any municipality, any state, any government, there's 10, 20,000 people, they go to sleep tonight. They could wake up tomorrow morning and they could say, I think Bitcoin looks like crypto gold. I'm going to go ahead and put 3% of my portfolio in it. That means I'm going to buy $4 billion of it. I'm going to buy $4 or $5 billion of it. It's nothing to me. It's nothing. It's like figure out how important 2% of your money is. It's like that deal. It's like, I noticed it. I'm going to put 2-3% of my assets into it. We'll see where it goes. LFG. and they put the news release out on the wire, and Bitcoin doubles or triples. And then, if the sovereign wealth fund of some Middle Eastern state did it, if they bought $5 billion, these people have $500 billion. Like the intelligent sovereign wealth funds, they're not, the central banks of smart countries, they're not sitting on a bunch of long dated T-bills. They're not holding a bunch of sovereign debt. They're holding Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Google. It's like, it's the day that a Warren Buffett gets up and he says to some dude that works for him, I got 50 billion, figure out something to invest it in. And the dude says, oh, well, we bought $10 billion worth of Apple, and then Apple triples. And Warren Buffett made more money on Apple stock, which was a delegated decision by a dude. He made more money on Apple stock than he made in his entire life. And he's acknowledged to be like maybe one of the most successful investors of the last 100 years. And yet the thing he made the most money on was like an afterthought. So back to what does this mean to Bitcoin? It's like some dude with a $400 billion balance sheet can delegate to a portfolio manager to look at this thing. And that portfolio manager can say, I'm going to put 2% into it. And if you pick up the paper and you read that the sovereign wealth fund of such and such state bought $5 billion worth of it, what happens is the next 5 countries, they think they'll put $5 billion into it. And then what happens next is somebody at Google will say, I guess we can hold $5 billion of it. And then somebody at Goldman Sachs or Morgan Stanley will say, I guess we probably should grab some. And then Ray Dalio with his $50 billion or $100 billion or $150 billion. Okay, well, I guess instead of like 0.5%, maybe 3%. Okay. And then all of a sudden Bitcoin spends from 40,000 to 150,000, 200,000. And I guess what I'm telling you is there's 10,000 people that could make $5 billion in 30 days if they wanted to bend over and pick up the money without taking a risk. And it's literally like they might just notice you. They haven't really noticed you yet. But at the end of the day, the future is going to be determined in part by the past, and in part of it is what the crypto industry thinks and does. But a lot of it is a function of what one regulator could get up tomorrow and put out a press release that would double the market. Any politician, there's probably 200 politicians. There's 10,000 big companies. There's 10,000 big institutional investors. There's 10,000 big governmental entities. Here's the big idea. The things at a tipping point, you don't need them all to agree. You just need anybody to agree. All you need is 1, 2, 3. 1 will tip 5, will tip 25. And then you spin up by an order of magnitude. When will that happen? I don't know. Like, is it an if? It's not an if, it's a when. It will happen, because I can't really imagine that we live in a world where 30,000 people don't want billions of dollars of money. Like, sometimes I'll talk to these big investors and they'll say, well, what's this thing with Bitcoin? I say, well, it's digital properties, the dominant global digital asset network, and it's a lever. And here's the reason it's better than credit or bonds or real estate. Here's how it fits in your portfolio. And they're like, I got to think about it some more. And I try to always be very polite, but in the back of my head, like, I'm like, you have $25 billion in your portfolio and you generated 2% yield last year, which is downright embarrassing because the S&P was up 25% and a freaking robot could have got 10x what you got. And I'm thinking, you must not like money that much. like I'm listening to you. I'm telling you, take $1 billion, take $2 billion, buy Bitcoin, put out a press release, explain why you bought it, and wait, and you're going to double your money.
Everyone has been talking about the big players, but Saylor accurately details what it is going to look like. We have seen a similar movement after El Salvador adopted Bitcoin as a legal tender. Tonga, Turkey, and other countries seem to be on the brink of doing the same thing. Even countries like Russia can see the potential and are looking to get on board in their own way. At this point, all we might need is a G7 country coming on board or a sovereign fund with hundreds of billions of dollars to spare, putting in just a small percentage of their money. As Saylor has stated, it is only a matter of when, not if. Let's have some fun in the comments section by making predictions of when this big movement will hit us. At Savvy Finance, we believe it is just around the corner. So sit tight, relax, and enjoy. Thanks for watching this video. If you are yet to do so, please click the like button. You can also subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications for more videos like this.